Wait. You said.
Do you know? Go to my subscribers.
I don't know.
We can't. Can he zoom in?
I don't know
Or
what I'm
it
doing.
can't happen.
Tell me what I'm doing. This is an iPad. I don't use iPads.
That is actually a MacBook.
Same thing.
Same.
Same thing.
Same. What's that from? Same.
Same. There we go. Why's Jeff cut off?
Too short.
Okay. Beautiful.
Wait, do we want to do that?
Wait, was it already live?
It's streaming now. We have not started recording.
Wait, do we want to do that?
Do what?
I'll just start with my.
It's streaming. You just hold on. Let me hit record.
Oh my gosh, forget it.
We've done this before.
All right, there we go. In 3, 2, 1.
Power.
What were you
So-
talking about, though?
No, I've got this. People have asked me over the week, like, how did you get this cut over your eye? Yeah. It looked like Mike Tyson had hit me.
That's scabbed over.
Yeah, big time. But I'm like, I've told, like, I was down with Tanya and I at the Padre game, and we're down at the bar. We go to this Mexican restaurant. It's like our thing, and we're sitting there, and it's tight. It's packed, and there's these guys next to us. Dodger fan, he's got a hat on, and Padre fan. Just it because most of the people are Padre fans.
Padres weren't even playing the Dodgers.
Yeah, but Dodger fans.
I know they're there.
every-
I know. I'm
they're
saying.
everywhere.
Yeah.
It's probably there to just tear us down. But they're both holding beers and they start arguing. Beers are just kind of like spilling out. And like, what the heck? And they're right next to Tanya. And I'm like, this is not good. You got to get away from my wife. I'm just thinking. So I step over. I'm like, guys, stop. This is enough. And the Dodger fan takes his elbow, boom, tags me.
It was like Andy and I go.
I just turn and I cold cock him. But as I do that, I slip in all their beer. He slips. He goes down. My head hits the bar. I'm bleeding all over the place.
Shit.
And the Dodger guy's down. He's staying down. And everybody's just kind of looking like, what is happening?
Did anybody no mouth to mouth?
No, nobody gets tossed or anything. But the guys at the bar, Padre guys who are running it, they're like, dude.
What church do you go to?
Hey, you got a podcast?
they're like, what do you two want to drink? And I'm like, and get the Dodger guy out of here. So they dragged him out of there, and
Cool.
the rest is history.
The way I know that's not true is that Dodger fans never lose fights.
Unless there's a Giants fan involved.
No, they
Am I
win.
right?
Then there's
Then there's death.
still too early.
Yeah, the truth is so boring.
Oh,
So boring.
that's a good one though.
But
You do
seriously,
you do have a wound.
Yeah, so-
I got you right there.
the truth?
I was at Sport Clip getting my hair cut, and the lady trimmed my eyebrow, and she like went zip, and she nicked my skin. I didn't know it at the time. A couple days later, I wake up, I'm like, why do I feel like I have an ingrown hair? Then it turned into like a big bulging eyeball, like I've been in an MMA fight.
Dude.
I'm like, what is happening? Now it's just like this crusty, gigantic crusty thing. I'm like, I don't know what's going on here.
It
but
looks better now, though. It was like
yeah.
you might need to see medical people.
I was worried. I was worried.
Was she using like the like a used manscaper? What was going on?
It was just
You got an infection from somebody else's stuff.
apparently. It's a
Okay.
first.
What's her name and social security number?
I'm
Do you know
not
where
so
she lives?
Sure, she's a citizen, but she's really nice, and I like her. And people are like, "You need to go back there, and you need to say what happened." I'm like, "There's no way I'm going to get her in trouble. I won't be able to get another."
And
infection.
this is from a Trump voter, and you even as a Trump voter, nay, a MAGA Trump voter, you want her in this country.
Well, she's a hard worker. She's got a great personality and spirit, and she's a great conversationalist. And every once in a while, she nicks you.
All right, I like that.
So
And she doesn't say anything weird about you wanting to get those ice cube slits in your eyebrow. I mean, vanilla ice, not ice cube. Well, maybe ice cube has them too.
Maybe.
Who knows? Yeah, I thought that was the weirdest part of the story that you didn't tell. What are you doing getting slits in your eyebrows?
all right,
Yeah,
Little bit. Okay, we got some listener feedback.
listener
The
feedback,
voicemails that we ask for
and rarely gets.
and rarely get, we got.
we got.
all right.
Okay.
Frank, cut to the Yeah.
All right, so here we go. We got the first one coming from listener Scott Debates.
Hey guys, it's Scott from Southern California. Got a question for you. Actually, two. First question. In today's divided world, what aspects of Christianity should be better highlighted to help grow the faith?
Ooh.
And secondly, as a follow-up, if you had a magic wand, what human roadblock would you eliminate so that others could more easily start following Jesus? Thanks, guys. Appreciate the show.
Okay, I'm terrible. I
Oh.
can't remember anything. So I can remember the first question. Ultimately, I think it was about division, redirecting people back to Jesus. It doesn't. I don't care where you are. Just redirecting people back to Christ. There's
Do we replay it so we can hear the first question? I'll pause it after the first question.
Sure.
We'll tackle that one.
Go for it.
because I have a
Question for
bird
you.
memory, elephant
Actually,
memory.
two. First question. In today's divided world, what aspects
Pause
of
it.
Christianity
No,
should be better highlighted to help grow the faith? And secondly,
Okay, what aspects of Christianity should be better highlighted to something the faith, to promote the faith,
To grow the
To
faith.
grow the faith.
To grow the church.
Given
Let's
the-
just say grow the church.
given that it's
The
a divided.
Yeah, but that's like Fox or CNN or CNBC asking the question, and they bias the question. I'm like, the question is not a good question. You're saying that believers, they're all divided. Well, then you've been
no,
stuck.
the world is divided.
Then they're pulled into the world. So,
And-
or is it how do the? It
He's
sounds
saying the
like-
world's divided. What part of Christianity should be highlighted to bring people who live in the divided world into the faith?
Okay.
That's how I understood it.
I understood it as within the church, there's division.
That is true. Also, and that's affecting it. That's part of this Venn diagram.
We could answer both of them.
Which I would say within the church, redirect people back to Jesus. What are you going to do about, these people? I'm like, okay,
What does that mean to you, Jeff?
which part?
Redirect people to Jesus. Because I think
How
most
you could ask
Christians are not going to disagree with what you just said. Redirect people to Jesus.
it's like
But
do you have do you have something against your brother or sister within the church? Why? What in you is wanting to fire back at them? And where do we see biblically, like Jesus' life, what is he doing? Is he firing back at people, or? And I would kind of leave it at that for the moment and let that settle in, and maybe I get a conversation going, and ultimately it starts. I want to draw them back to like the peace of, like literally peace, like doves, Jesus, and you're just gonna will you possibly create a cancer for yourself that will eat you alive and eat your faith alive while you go and argue with someone that you have division within the church? And we certainly don't want that. Like you're wasting your time. You're in the hamster wheel, and it's going to devour you. You're just going to run out of energy.
What's the so summarize your response then for me? What's the part of Christianity that needs to be highlighted for those who are within the church who experience division?
Well, Jesus is the highlight.
I know, but I guess I didn't.
I've seen him dunk, actually. I've seen some clips, AI clips of Jesus dunking. It's pretty sweet. That is a highlight.
Totally smoked LeBron.
Continue,
as
Andy.
he should.
No, I'm not, and I'm not trying to be argumentative, but like
No, you're wanting some specifics, and I'm
like,
like,
I just it is broad. It's just like
Do you have some? Like, how would you answer? Maybe before we nitpick the responses, what would be your
So
response to the question?
okay. So the thing that comes to mind for me initially is how in our church it's been developed around centered set theology, which is to say, kind of what you're describing. Hey, there are a lot of different aspects of religion that people can glom onto, and the two primary ways of defining what you believe are bounded set. Hey, here's the walls.
Sure.
Anything outside of this, it's out. for sure. And we focus on the walls. The reverse of that is centered set. It's like the watering hole analogy. Hey, we all want to put Jesus at the center and recognize that people are coming in from all
you're
over.
not sure. You're not sure about the virgin birth. You don't know how to work out the Trinity. You're not sure about the types of baptism. What's the right way? Like, okay, put that aside.
Yeah.
And focus on like what does it mean to follow Jesus and Jesus' death, resurrection,
And even beyond like setting it aside, allowing to say it's okay. You and I don't. It's okay if we don't align or agree perfectly on those things, right? We can still exist in the same room. We can still go to the same church and say, I believe this about this part of my Christianity, and you believe differently. However, we agree on the most important thing, which, like you were saying, is Jesus. That's the part that we need to focus on. Don't get hung up on these other pieces.
Right. And 5 years ago, pre-pandemic, people did not really have division. The pandemic set things off that
feels
no.
I'll allow you.
There was
rephrase.
a whole lot that came to be where people then it was division that was created that really didn't exist. All of a sudden, people took a torch for things that they never even cared about. And someone told, like, hey, we're going to fight for this. It's like, yeah. And I'm like, well, I don't believe in that. It's like, you're a bad person. And it's like, we go to church together. And so that's part of the division. And now you could move forward into like, okay, Trump has gotten back in the presidency and now there's division with that and politics and financial stuff. And like in the present, it's like, yes, there's division, but within the church, if you want to say that there's division in those social aspects of, what's going on and what, the PR or the,
we have our own like microcosm that we exist in, that we get our like actual real life engagement in. But I think back to like, in Ireland, Protestants and Catholics, like that's been going on for a long time. That's a pretty good example of where you've had strong disagreement, strong strife.
That's not something that we have within
That's within the church.
Within a church that believes a certain way. Like I visited other churches where they like I could tell, okay, they are very strict on X, Y, and Z, and I'm not very strict on that. And I actually have friends who are part of churches like that, and they're like, yeah, this church is not for you. And it's like, it wasn't about, figuring out conflict. It was like, just, go somewhere else. And it's like, okay, so we go somewhere else. If you're going to stay and you're going to grind it out, or you're trying to direct someone like, okay,
you're saying there's no division there. Like they made the divide. The divide was done. And
Right.
then moving forward, it's like we're no longer in the same church.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
As opposed to
Okay.
the watering hole where it's like
We're all-
everybody's pointing
Yeah.
towards Jesus. You can believe whatever you want. Within that,
I get what you're saying.
that's very different.
The,
When you have that's kind of that's a very
Should it be?
casual,
Should
that's
it
a
be
very
different?
casual belief where you're like, hey, you can believe whatever you want as long as you're pointing towards Jesus. I'm like, that's great. It brings people in, but there's not a whole, I would say there's less conviction in people's
You're not wrong.
belief.
You're not wrong about that. It's easy to imagine the bounded set people that have like very strict doctrinal lines, oftentimes in the Calvinist or Reformed traditions,
or Baptist.
or Baptist, yeah. And there's also Baptist Reformed. Although I've heard some Reformed people say that's impossible.
And then
So
there's
we can-
Calvinist, Reformed, Baptist. And then
Yes. Yeah, but within say there's a big Reformed theology church, they will feel very unified within those boundaries,
Sure.
within those walls, which can counterintuitively, or no, it might be intuitively, it creates like the us versus them thing, which actually contributes to the actual societal division because they see it one way, this is the way it is, and it's harder to see people from outside. But it can create
I got a lot of volume.
it can create I got a lot of excitement. It
Yes.
can create more growth within that structure because of the certainty, and this is the way it is, and anything. Yeah, it's fine. Some people believe other things, but not if we're in here.
So yeah, people who are seeking absolutes.
Yes.
I don't want questions. I want answers.
But my crack at Scott's question is a pet peeve of mine when in this day and age where everything is political, mostly for worse, and the culture wars are on fire, and more people are like, there's more fear and uncertainty in the world of how things are going. And in that environment, you hear pastors that are talking a lot about what Christians should do and taking a stand for what's right. And like some of the gender uncertainty in society, we got to take a stand on that and engage politically. So for those political, but what I don't hear, here's my pet peeve. Rare is it you hear, okay, let's look at Jesus walk, how he walked and how he talked from the Bible. And what did he do? Who did he hang out with? And if you look at it, just his disciples, the 12 disciples, it was people that would have had enormous political differences, enormous, like catastrophic. You got a tax collector who's basically, whoring out for Rome, to be a little dramatic. And you got the zealot who wants to overthrow Rome, and yet they're following this guy. So how does that happen? I don't know how to say that in a way that will apply to everybody, but that's pretty magical. That's worth exploring. And you don't hear that from church. You just hear a lot of Paul left instructions on the household and how to run a church. And so we get a lot of Paul, and we get a lot of out of context Old Testament stuff, but we don't get a lot of what were Jesus and the disciples doing, and how might that have looked? Because they were wildly different on the politics of the day, underneath a Roman occupation that is just,
and I think
oppressive.
Applying that today, I haven't read anything in there which said, and by the way, Jesus said these core political beliefs have to be eliminated. It's just not even talked about.
No.
And so in that vacuum, one possible answer could be he didn't tell them to drop that, but he just said, hey, I want you to just redirect your attention.
Yeah.
Right. And that's where I imagine it was kind of alluded to here. And I don't think that the idea of centered set theology is to say everyone can believe anything and that's okay. And there are no boundaries at all to what can be believed. Like someone who subscribes to centered set theology, there is a point. There are things that they would say, I don't, I'm in this. There are things that I don't believe. There is a line out there somewhere, but it is, are you focused on the boundaries or are you focused on the centerpiece?
I just think of how Jesus lived his life, and that was, he would wait, he would watch, he would ask questions, and he would wait, and he would watch, and he would ask questions, and he would live his life. So when it came to division, Jesus asked questions and waited. So it's that in terms of division, there's always conflict, but he seemed to always be waiting and being patient. And so when it's what do we do within our church when there's division? It's we can be patient, we can ask questions, we can, create, a connection with the people that are having conflict or feel things aren't right, or there's a division within our church or whatever it might be. It's that's all you can do. You don't need to go out and hit home runs for the team. They just need you to just be there to pick up a ground ball and throw somebody out. Or just sit on the bench and just be there to support, for a terrible baseball reference.
It is baseball season.
But there's a, that just seems more simple, and I don't want to make too much of that question because I don't know about the division part. In this division, it's you're already setting conflict when you ask that question. I don't see conflict.
You don't think the world is divided right now?
Dude, the world's since the beginning of time.
But
the
you did
world's
say
been
since the
divided.
pandemic.
More so, it set things off. It's almost like someone lit a fire in people's houses. It's like, oh my gosh, and so that's very different. Like that was a catalyst to people just going
But that's
sideways.
a reality that's happening right now.
Oh, certainly. But then again, it's like, I'm sorry, you're freaking out. What do you want me to do for you? You need to settle down. Can I ask you a few questions? I have.
How does that go?
I have people. No, I have. People have personal relationships with. The question has been asked: what has changed in your life? Well, nothing. But okay, so nothing has changed in your life, but you feel more stress and more like conflict towards other people
Yeah.
when nothing really exists except the marketing of it all. So pull yourself out of the world. Maybe turn your phone off. Maybe stop watching the news and go have a relationship with people. And incredibly, miraculously, the conflict will probably disappear and the division will probably disappear.
How we doing over here, guys?
Dude, is Andy work for Caltrans now?
Where's your vest?
Why do we not have a
We
camera
lost power
on
on
him?
Power on a camera.
Oh, no.
Jeffrey,
My camera?
your camera.
Wait, what?
Keep going.
Seriously?
I'm enthralled.
Oh yeah, do you got any thoughts about this, Dave?
Not currently.
Okay. Yeah, it's worth noting when you talk about Jesus, the way he operated. So much we want to use Jesus to our own political ends often, but to sort of paraphrase Richard Rohr, there's this. He says Jesus never condemned sinners. His harshest condemnations, i.e., turning the tables, which the masculine dudes like to point out, Jesus wasn't a pushover. He tore shit up. Turning the tables, any condemnation was towards people who didn't think they were sinners. It was never towards people that were the sinners and the outcasts. And I think we should try to rediscover that. Like, what does it look like to, hey, this person is outside, this person is not accepted, this person maybe believes different things, maybe acts different in different ways, but yet in every example throughout Jesus' ministry, it was never condemnation for that person. In fact, to quote one of the Gospels, I did not come into this world to condemn it. And yet, partly because things are dialed up to 11 and everything seems super important and pivotal, now we want, like, no, Jesus would condemn all X, Y, and Z that we see politically.
But I feel like I've had conversations with people recently that I know we're polar opposites in many of the things that we believe in. And yet I'm like,
You're probably having that conversation right now.
there's no reason for me to bring up the worldly things. We don't need to focus on that because that takes us away from the peace, the life within Jesus. You see people, what we hope for is to see people who are having a terrible time with the worldly stuff and to be able to neutralize them and be like, hold on, like, you have a king. It's not Donald Trump. It's not any political system. It's not your money. It's not like anything outside of your relationship with Jesus. Those things can affect you, but how much are you going to let it affect you to the point where it just becomes cancerous and eats you from the inside out, and then your relationships break or whatever it might be? Like, to ask people that you're like, the divide you think is there, yeah, it's there, but how important are you going to make that over your relationship with people and living a life? I mean, 60 years, you want to look back and you're like, I'm so glad I got angry and upset and fought with those people, and they're not my friends anymore.
But Jeff, So I was.
Does that make sense?
It does.
Do we want
and I'm
people to
gonna
be
try poke
angry?
holes in it. No, but I'm okay. So say somebody comes to you. I was molested by a spiritual leader, and I've experienced incredible trauma, and I'm dipping my toe back in. And when I hear or see preachers talk or run their church a certain way, it's triggering. But I do want to be involved in a spiritual community. But is that bringing the world, or is that just accept Christ and have it go away? I think a lot of these issues, there's way more gray area than just like have it just be about Jesus. Like I like make it just about Jesus, but when you get in the nitty gritty, or the kid that's struggling with their sexuality and their family they feel rejected by their family.
Well, just
And
stay
they
with
need
just stay with the first part. If someone actually approached me and said, "This is what's happened," I'd be like, I'm sick. Like, I can't imagine what you've been through. Like, that's awful. People are so broken, and we do just horrendous stuff to each other. I don't know how you've even lived through that. Like, I don't know where you are, but I don't know if you're willing or if you've already like let this go, but I just don't know where you're at. And you're telling me because obviously you trust me. So I would love to sit and listen to your story, and I would start there.
Okay. I feel like that's a better answer than before. It sounded like you were just like, don't bring the world into this. It's just about Jesus. And I don't.
Yeah, but that is Jesus.
I know, but that's not what you were saying.
It's
before.
not. Well, okay.
Or if it's like, hey, I believe some of the rhetoric about this current administration, and I'm like a sexual minority, and so I have a lot of fear, and I struggle with people who might have wanted or who might like this current administration. You know, that could be seen as bringing the world into it. But I think what you're highlighting, and what I know you do a really good job of in real life, is in the face-to-face. And I think that maybe that's part of the answer, is like so much of the stuff is online or like us versus them stuff. Whereas when you see somebody, I know you interact with people that are diametrically opposed to you politically and vice versa, but in the face-to-face, you can have a real conversation and maybe hash out some things here and there, but it is face-to-face, and you see the human in them and they see the human in you. And it's something, it transcends the like, oh, that person believes this, therefore they're a Nazi, or that person believes this, therefore they hate gay people. And that's not good for anyone.
What about gay Nazis?
Gay Nazis are the hardest ones because
Whoa.
nobody knows what to do.
Was
with
that a
it.
movie? I think that was a big blockbuster bust.
Wasn't that you searched into Gemini? Like, show me Nazis, and they were gay. And
Andy, Zach, you're absolutely
welcome back, Andy.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Technical situations.
It becomes the one-on-one, and that is like we're trying to be the hands and feet of Jesus. And yes, my overview, and then the one-on-one personal interaction they may seem different. It's like when I get one-on-one with people, I'm spiritually led. My questions, my thoughtfulness changes from, when I'm just dicking around with friends and we're, just, shooting the shit.
Yeah.
But when it gets down to one-on-one, like I care so much about people, and I want to see individuals changed. I want them to see like, holy crap, you are a huge Trump person and you believe completely the opposite of what I believe. And I don't understand how you can also act this way and believe those things. And I'm like, that is Jesus Christ through and through. And that cuts through everything. And so whatever division that there is, that's why I'm like, redirect people back to Jesus in how we are with people. And I don't see it as complicated. I see people as everybody's distracted by the worldly things. Wow, something's in Andy's craw there.
Did my face going like sideways?
I think he's got some balls palsy.
No.
Demonic. Balls palsy.
That's a new one.
Balls palsy.
Balls
I
palsy.
might, but you're not going to see it on this podcast.
Yeah.
Testicular palsy.
So I got
I
to
think
show.
that's just called ballsy.
Hey yo.
Yeah, Andy, you kind of like, hey,
What
Jeff,
was the
could you
second half
explain
of
this
his
more?
question?
I know.
And maybe we should go to the next voicemail.
Yeah, we can do that. I think
yeah.
we did a good couple rounds on this.
We probably did, and there's always
But
more to say.
you were
so-
doing Caltrans work, and we were
without a vest. I'm
I don't even
disappointed.
know what we talked about. Okay, sorry, fans. If you are on the live stream or watching this, one of our cameras went down, and I'm not going to tell you, but its initials belong to Jeff Pearson. Okay, there is the second part, though. To honor the
Wow.
voicemail,
We've created division.
we have to honor the voicemail.
In today's divided world, what aspects of Christianity
Okay, we answered that one.
should be better highlighted to help grow
I
the
bet
faith?
Scott's gonna listen back like,
Okay,
no, you
here we go.
didn't.
Secondly,
Here it is.
as a follow-up, if you had a magic wand, what human roadblock
Bip,
would
bip.
you eliminate so that others could more easily start following Jesus?
Well, first of all, Scott, I'm a Christian. I don't believe in magic, so no.
Unless it's Lord of the Rings based,
Yeah.
then it's okay. Keep
Uh,
that J.K. Rowling and who's the Game of Thrones guy?
Scott, I don't
George
like
R.R.
your
Martin.
Scott. I do not like your question.
I love it, Scott. Let the record reflect that Jeff and I hate each other right now, but we're still sitting next to each other.
I would have a magic wand that removes the hate between them.
That's a stupid question. What
What
roadblock would you take out? It's like we're back to the first question.
No, maybe.
We are. No, for me, we are. For you, I don't know what you're thinking.
Most Christians, when it comes to doing church is Sunday mornings in a big building, and you can come and visit, but you can't be involved unless you check X amount of boxes. Which we don't need to go through the whole centered set thing again. But I would challenge Christians: church is not your Sunday morning thing. Church is not the building, and
But it is community, and being there will
community
build
doesn't
community.
require a building. It can. It can, but what my critique
So
is,
what's the roadblock you're getting rid of? The building?
is thinking, oh, this is when I worship, this is when I do church. No, your prayer to harness the power of the Benedictine monks. Shout out to Colin Ferris. They have this thing where it's like your work, your prayer is your work, and your work is your prayer. So whatever you are doing, it is your prayer. It is your worship. It is you are the church. Wherever
whatever you
go.
do in name or deed.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I think if the more Christians do that, and you're not checking the box on Sunday, and I'm not saying anything about anybody here or anybody we're affiliated with necessarily, ? But
Yeah, baby.
Kyle Dunnigan.
Sorry, I just listened to that episode.
Oh, that's so fun. Yeah. So just be aware of it when you're out and about. You're an asshole on the road, but you go to church on Sunday. It's like
You are.
That doesn't
You
work
are.
out.
You're an asshole on the road.
I was looking in the mirror. He's got a giant mirror, so everything I say is projection anyway. So just assume I'm talking about myself.
The magic wand I would wave is probably closest to apathy, and that or the belief that like things are good enough. I don't need anything else. And I think that's something that we encounter.
Oh, don't need Jesus?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
I'm good. Yeah.
I'm Dave Ritchie. I'm good.
I'm
good.
busy. I'm busy, but I'm good.
Dave, do you need Jesus?
I do need Jesus.
No, the answer is I'm good.
I'm good.
No, but there's a strong that's an attitude and position I think that a lot of people hold, which is either things are pretty good, and so nothing's going to move me out of that position. What additional does my life gain? What addition does my life gain by making it harder to follow Jesus?
So I had seen some statistic today, and it was showing back in 1987, there was a fall off in people going to church. It was during the financial, I don't know, it was bonds or something like junk bonds or something like that.
Barry Bonds. 1987.
The junkiest.
This is
of all
rookie
the
year.
bonds.
I found 3 of his rookie cards. They may be worth thousands of
I feel
dollars.
like
Continue.
I feel like we have division right now in the
Yeah,
church.
sorry. Keep going.
You can sell those.
I haven't talked in a long time, guys. I'm really excited to talk.
Plus, I can get thrown very
I've been-
easily.
I've been
Wait, what
working
were
on
we-
these.
What were we
We do
talking
need some.
about?
Apparently, we need some equipment upgrades, Andy, so you could sell a couple of
Jesus.
those cards.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
And then later on in 09, 08, there was a little bit of fall off again.
Okay.
And then when the shit hit the fan in 2020, 2021, there was this massive fall off. Also,
Fall off of what?
of people going to church. And it went from 70% to 47% between 2020 and now. And it's a people financially are struggling. So the last 4 or 5 years has just been a massive struggle. And so I'm equating, and I think they were, the statistic was equating, because there was some commentary on it, is like when things are not going good financially, like when people, I think, feel like desperate and they're done.
My argument is the reverse of that.
Well, you would think I don't have a lot, so now I'm calling on Jesus. If you correlate financial, drops in history, it actually correlates with people not going to church. It was a very small in 87. It was a little bigger
Right.
in
You said
09.
that. I got that part. I get it.
But now, and we all have seen it at churches, there's a massive drop off in attendance, and not only attendance, in giving, because there's lack of attendance, and then people who are attending don't have as much money.
Okay. I think
That does equate.
pandemic is an anomaly. It's not just about finances. It's a whole shit ton of stuff that's
The
wrapped up in
statistics actually show that it is
correlation.
about finances.
Correlation and causation are not the same, because you just described that it was 70% prior to that, and then we had this crazy wild steep drop off of 23% from 7 percentage points, from 70 down to 47. That happened in the pandemic. It wasn't just about finances, because they got those stimmy checks. It wasn't. It was about the fact that you had lockdowns, and then there was division within the
thanks
church.
for $600 or $1,200 or whatever.
I know. I wish I would have gotten a stimmy check. So,
Favorite,
but
the
but
Maui fire. Here's $700.
oh my
to rebuild
gosh. By the way, anyway, we'll send some money to Ukraine. But my
Statistics show it correlates to finances.
Who said lies,
what else could
damn lies,
and then
statistics?
the statistics. Yeah, there's
People lose faith in Jesus when they're not doing good financially.
people don't get drawn to Jesus when they don't think that they need anything, because things are pretty good.
I've also heard there's no atheists in a foxhole, which is like, that's the worst possible situation you should be in. So I feel like the financial downturn, people will turn, when things go bad, people will turn to anything for help, including a higher power.
I think
But you're not, I don't think you can argue with church attendance.
I'm not.
dropped.
I just don't. I just
Whatever the
disagree
reason.
that finances were the only contributor to that. I think that was one piece of a very complicated puzzle, and because you had people that it was 30% of people stopped going to church altogether. Period. 30% of people changed churches, and the other 30% stuck around with their existing church. That's like the general numbers of what happened during that time. Going back to the previous question, there was a lot of division in the midst of all of that, which was a strong reason for it. I also think in that research that came back, it was the Barna Group that did it. They also said people went home and they stopped going into church, and they got into this habit of like, oh, I'm just streaming online. It's easier for me to just stay home.
Guilty.
It's fine. Look, Dave Ritchie.
Well, the first time he talks, he confesses.
Never came back. Look at that.
I came back.
Yes, that's true. You did come back finally. But our finances played a role, but I'm just saying it's overly simplistic to say that's the only reason.
But it's the biggest.
You don't know that.
Statistics,
Whatever.
87, 09, and now.
But you're imagining that nothing else happened.
I'm
during
not
that point.
disagreeing with you there, but I'm just saying the largest is finances. People are like, I'm struggling. I can't do this. If I show up to church, I'm not going to look good. I can't give. I'm not going to church. There's something there.
I don't agree with that.
But whatever the reason, and I think Barna would back this up, church people wanting to be in organized church activities is dropping.
They gave up.
Whatever the reason.
We saw how much political division there was in the church. You just described it. You spent 10 minutes describing what you experienced during the pandemic.
It was 7 minutes.
It was 7.5 minutes. And
Watching Andy on his knees.
watching me trying to plug in things to get them to work. And
I couldn't focus.
and
His butt was like,
it's reasonable to expect that a good percentage of those people went, fuck it, I'm done. This is not a place where I want to come anymore because all I feel like is division and fighting. Why do I want to get out of bed early on Sunday morning to go to that?
Right.
No way. And being on the board during that time, we got all of that feedback. Nobody was happy. Didn't matter what you did. Didn't matter what decision you made. Hey, we're going to have church inside. Or sorry, we're only going to have church outside. Well, people who wanted it inside were pissed off. Okay, we're going to have it inside. Well, people who only wanted it outside were pissed off. Okay, we're going to have 3 options. You can stream it from home. There will be an outside option for you. And if you want to go inside, you can have that too. All 3 groups were also pissed off.
you're letting fascists meet inside.
Had nothing to do
All right.
had nothing to do with finances. So I still come back to, yes, was there a big drop there? True. Did a whole lot of other things happen? Because one would say,
Yes.
yes, that would, like, it supercharged the issue. I still believe that the person who's in a position of apathy, my life is pretty good, convince me that I need to add something to it, which would arguably make it more difficult in some ways. It's more difficult to follow Jesus than not in many ways. And that's that's the magic wand I would bring out. I would say, convince this person that it is worth their time to change, that their life being just good enough, or their perception of just good enough, isn't worth it. It isn't just good enough. It will be drastically better with Jesus in it. Not easier, but better. And that's where I use my magic wand.
I appreciate that. Yeah.
I would also use a magic wand to fix the other camera. That would be the other thing.
But Scott only gave you one magic wand, and you already used
Do
it.
one of you guys want to use your magic wands?
So, yeah, I think the way I kind of already said it.
Do we
So
want to go to
we
another?
go to
another
the other voicemail?
Yeah, let's do it.
Just
If you can punch in your code.
551472.
everybody,
Everyone, make
America,
note.
you,
Make
the
note.
world, write this down. That's
Oh.
actually
Now it's asking for it again.
551.
maybe use your precise fingers.
Hey guys,
Don't use your drunk fingers.
What's going on?
I get rid of judgment.
Get rid of judgment. Magic wand. Okay, say more. Tell me more.
1472.
Oh my God, this is the best podcast ever. We're leaving all of this in.
It's great.
No, go.
Just
My credit card's 5923 4447 2200 323 is the code. Expiration 1228.
zip code.
92673. San
Nice.
Clemente.
Riveting.
Okay. All right. Good luck. It's Jeff Pearson.
You can go to Jeff Pearson, right?
Nope.
No.
There it is.
When
We're back.
we get home, I'm going to be absolutely
All right, Dave.
in debt.
Dave will get rid of judgment. Dave, I love that you're speaking up. What? Say more.
I think that judgment is a big cause of division and unrest among the people.
You have a terribly great hairdo.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, a diversion, but I think that falls in
Judgment.
line with Richard Rohr. Jesus never condemned sinners. He only condemned the people that thought they weren't sinners, that thought they weren't the problem.
What do you define condemn as?
Jesus never rebuked people that were the outcasts and the sinners.
Go forth and sin no more?
That doesn't count. That's like the one everyone uses because it's the one example. Like, do you think he expected her to not sin ever again? By the way, that story wasn't in the original text anyway, which is a bummer because I think it's a really beautiful story. But the
Blasphemy.
people, Christians, they take out of that story where they want to stone this woman. And Jesus is like, whoever is without sin, stone her. They don't condemn you, neither do I. Now go and sin no more. And the people, the thing that Christians take away, which makes me laugh in dark humor,
Wait, can we guess it?
the point of the story for most people is, no, he doesn't want her to sin anymore. Is it possible to not sin anymore for any of us? No. Is the point that, or is the point more towards these? I've actually, you know what's most fucked up? Here we go. I read a pastor, I don't remember who it was, but it was a decent sized church, talking about how Jesus would have stoned the woman at the well because he was without sin. He only told the people if you're without sin, go ahead and stone her, and they walked away. But since he was without sin, Jesus would have been okay to stone that woman.
Oh, the story stops, and we don't see that as she walks around, as she leaves.
On the Babylon
yes.
Bee.
He chucks a rock at the back of her.
Yes. I'm like that, and that is like
Okay.
the most perverse version of it. But the point of that story, I don't think it is that like if she sinned again, that then Jesus would have come down on her.
Okay, but maybe can I offer something that's a little less binary?
Okay.
Which is,
Jeff?
it's not that he's saying I expect you to never sin again, but I think what he is saying is like, hey, this isn't working. You shouldn't keep trying to do this thing. Of course,
But you're emphasizing her as opposed to him condemning them.
I'm
for
using
being
her as
hypocrites.
an example. I don't want to be distracted by the other guys right now. I'm using her as one of the
No,
examples.
but that's kind of my point. Is that Christians gravitate towards her?
I know, but that's a different problem.
That is the problem
No,
in my book.
Okay, sure.
But I will allow it.
Good
Keep
news.
going.
Two things can exist in the same time.
No, they can't.
This
right
feels
now.
like the Dodger
We could have
Padre
more than
thing.
one
Whoa,
problem.
whoa, 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 whoa.
And Jeff
Hey,
has
whoa.
another scab on his face.
The point that I guess I'm trying to make is
No!
that in no point does Jesus engage with someone. Does he forgive them of their sins and say, hey, well, I guess it's implied when the forgiveness of sins is that action is not good, right? You shouldn't. Jesus doesn't want you to continue doing this thing.
She was already in the full throes of
So you can
experiencing
pick
it.
anybody in the New Testament that Jesus forgives of their sins, right? Anyone that he forgives of their sins. If it was completely fine for them to keep doing that, then there'd be no need for him to forgive them of their sins.
Is that what you get out of it, though? Is if he didn't say that, it would have been a fine?
Well, that sounds like what you're implying is that there's like, I guess I'm trying to say is just because he didn't use the exact words, hey, like because outside of that one, when he forgives someone of their sins,
Yeah.
it's not implying. The implication there is, don't do that. That this behavior is not okay. Otherwise, there's nothing to be forgiven.
Yeah.
And so,
but yet,
common sense would tell you don't keep doing
Yeah.
that thing, right?
Yes, but tying it back to Dave feels like right now there's judgment heavy in the church, and
Yes.
I think it is an interesting Rorschach test, this story, because the guy that she slept with or slept with her and vice versa, or maybe multiple guys, not even mentioned, not even a problem in this story. Does that mean it's okay that they do it?
Well, okay,
I know you're not saying that.
I know I'm not saying that, but like,
But
at
why
some
do
point-
we
at some
always
point you-
emphasize the sinner in this story, and we don't emphasize the self-righteousness?
I have heard in messages the other guys mentioned too, by the way, that are not listed in the story. I don't fall under the belief that these stories need to be like full transcripts, direct historical connections, and if every piece of the puzzle isn't there,
That's fine. I'm just emphasizing Jesus is basically telling these guys, hey, you fuck up too, so get lost.
yeah.
It just felt like it's a humbling moment for them, and for me it's a parallel or it's synonymous when he says, now go sin no more, and it's really like, follow me.
According to the law, I agree with you. According to the law, she should have been stoned. And he's like, no, there's something better, because according to the law, we're all fucked. My words in Jesus' mouth.
Hey, go sin no more.
Story.
So he doesn't tell the Pharisees to go sin no more.
Yeah, because he knows that's hopeless. I'm reading into
What?
it, but
Yeah,
I think it's fun.
What?
What? Maybe, but I guess
Hopeless?
That's my point. Is that like just because that he isn't calling for just because he doesn't say go and sin no more doesn't mean he doesn't mean go and sin no more.
I agree, but I think it's a very interesting Rorschach test on your people's general disposition towards sin and repentance and everything, on what they emphasize in that story in particular. And most Christians, when they hear they try to combat the grace of Jesus letting her off the hook by emphasizing the fact that he told her not to sin. And I think it's revealing.
How does that combat the grace of Jesus to say
Because they don't want
do
grace
that
to be
anymore?
easy. People don't want like.
Well,
hey,
doesn't
you're
it
forgiven.
become cheap at some point? Doesn't it become abused and cheap?
It can be, but it's still there.
What do you
That's
mean?
the- that's
What
the
do you mean
point.
by that? Cheap. Grace becomes cheap.
The 20th time I punch you in the nuts and ask for forgiveness, at some point you're going to be like, dude,
It's like the story of Job.
this isn't working anymore. Like, I guess I'll continue to forgive you, but something in this equation is broken.
Yeah, but we want to maintain that. There's a sense of order that is violated if grace becomes cheap, where it's like things can get out of control if they just know they're forgiven willy-nilly. But I think what we see in Paul, a lot of it in Romans too, which we talked about on the last episode, is like, do we continue to sin so that grace may abound? No, but yet grace will keep going, grace upon grace upon grace. But when you realize what you've been forgiven for, when you realize the wrong you've done to people, and yet you're forgiven, that's the transformative effect of following Jesus, where it's like, it doesn't cause you to be like, oh, I want to keep hurting people. It's like, no, because you've been hurt and you realize how you've hurt other people. And then you realize when there's grace, when you grasp it, and it's not always easy, especially in periods of extreme abuse, that stuff needs to be worked through. This is not a magic bullet. But when you do have those moments, and I've had times where it's like, you just realize like how much forgiveness matters. The response when it's a pure experience of forgiveness is not like, oh, I want to take advantage of that. It's like, no, I see how much magic it's done in my life. Sorry, Andy, we don't do magic as Christians. But
I don't know where that came from.
J.K. Rowling. But when you've experienced that, the magic of forgiveness, you want to pass it on, at least in the best possible examples. That's a thing. So should we play another voice? Dave, that was your question. You finally spoke. Do you want to elaborate any more or anything?
No, I think you did amazing.
Oh,
I love you, man.
so you're on Team Zach?
Team Zach.
Oh, what? You guys got to earn your spot.
Yeah. Okay.
on Dave's mantle.
Let me get going. Okay.
Should we do the other voicemail?
Yeah, let's do another voicemail.
What's up, my knuckers? I didn't say the word. What's up, bros? When people choose to use what I'll call faux fanity, like words such as dang it, crud, heck, shoot,
Oh, balarkey.
fudge, it's because they want to convey the same sentiment, but in a more
Screw.
virtuous way, either because they don't want to offend or don't want to be punished or don't like the way it sounds coming out of their own mouths,
Oh, I got a good one for this.
because of how they view others who use those words. So it could be that they just want to tone it down so they don't feel or sound crass. But it's a form of virtue signaling if you think about it, kind of. Got dandruff, some of it itches.
Full stop.
My favorite version of that was got down, sat on a bench.
That's fantastic.
Got dandruff, some of it itches.
When I was in college, I had a friend of mine who used to say, when someone would be like, what the F? He'd go like, dude, don't say F. It makes me think of the word fuck.
So this hits. I mean, it doesn't hit home, but years ago, years ago, had a friend. His name was Dean Keenan. And he was the first person that invited me to church, and went to Harvest in Riverside. no idea what I was getting into.
Yeah, that was the first mistake. Is that church? Go ahead.
Well, and his daughter played soccer for me, and we were eating dinner, and this night it was them eating Krispy Kreme, like 24 donuts. I'm like,
Gross.
oh, I like this family.
Whoa, you like?
I like this family.
lot.
They were huge.
But his daughter said like frick or something like that, or
something in the area.
and he
too
and
close.
and I kind of then got a glimpse of what that looked like, and that was like, it's in your heart. You might as well just say it, because you're not saying what you want to say, but you're saying this word in place of a different word. And I don't know if it was the F word. It was something else. It may even been as like trivial as shoot or something like that. But it goes with that question. It was a good. I think that's a really good example of like, you're saying something, so you're not saying something else. But this was a kid.
What was your impression at the time? Do you remember? What was your reaction? Internal.
was
Actually,
like-
what was your reaction? Internal and external.
I was like, wow, Dean's very cerebral. Like, okay. But it did make me think, like, it's what in your heart. That stuck with me. I still remembered. It was 25 years ago, and it stuck with me. I'm like, okay. He was literally like, you might as well just say it. And because it's there.
It's in your
but you're-
freaking heart.
You're covering it up. But I'm like, I mean, there's more to this, because I'm sure, Zach, you've got a lot on this since you teach your kids, how to say the F word correctly.
I do, actually. And it starts with Quentin Tarantino movies.
Oh, yeah.
No, but there is, since we're a podcast that sort of references the Bible, but we don't actually quote it directly, but there is a paraphrase that I should know this verse, but out of the heart, the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks, which touches on what he was saying. And I don't disagree with that. Like, what's going on the inside will manifest on the outside, even if you try to tamp it down and like fake it till you make it and put on the church face. Like, I think F words and all the worst words, or the effect of those words without using them, happens in super polite society. You could think of like Southern Charm. Like, how many times, like,
Oh, bless their heart.
bless their heart, or I'm not from the South, but you've seen enough movies where it's like, okay, you're saying the words that way, but everyone knows that person's in trouble and they're about to die because this is a mob movie or whatever it is.
Southern mob,
Southern mob.
which is the thing. Sure.
Yeah, maybe I have too much Red Dead Redemption gangs in my mind, but I'm not disagreeing. Like,
You shouldn't have rode your horse into my territory.
it's biblical.
We've talked about this before, and you've brought it up. It's like there's emphasis to where in society at certain times, certain words put emphasis on like the shit that's going on in the church right now is going to destroy the church. We need to shift. And people will be like, okay, you use the word shit.
And they're ignoring the truth that you're bringing in.
Like-
No, you're driving off a cliff right now, but because you're thrown by the word shit, you're not going to turn away from driving off the cliff.
Right.
You're going to go to your death as a church or whatever it is.
I think the context always matters.
Yeah.
Like, what's the context? Because it's distracting. Oftentimes, it's really distracting.
But
And
is that thanks? And I guess the question that is we ask the question is like, do we want to be a distraction? And
like, if it's in church and you do it from the front of the stage, that's a distraction, and people will instantly be hung up on that. And then it doesn't matter whatever comes out of your mouth for the next 2 minutes. It's just noise, right? Because everyone's locked into. They said the word. It doesn't matter how you feel about their reaction. It is what happens. Now, in this context, it doesn't matter. We don't get hung up on it, right? And so I think that's why it just depends on when and where you can use these kinds of things.
And very quickly, a listener that stumbles upon it, they love the Bible and they search Bible, and somehow Bros, Bibles, and Beer came up, they can quickly decipher that they shouldn't be here.
it's like that's
Although
crap.
we wish they were here. Like,
that's
I wish you were
crap,
here,
and then they shut it off.
We do have a couple of viewers happening right now, which is exciting.
is
Hold
fun.
on. Maybe not. I don't know. It says we're offline.
Shush.
It's all right. I don't
No,
care.
no,
As
let's
long
not
as we're
get hung up
recording.
on that.
Is the main feed recording? Let's keep going, Andy. All right. Stay on target.
Hey, in my family,
Oh,
the ultimate bad word was shut up.
Yeah.
I did not hear the word shut up until 6th grade when I came to Long Beach, California. I came from Omaha, lived a very sheltered Nebraska life, and literally that was the first time I heard shut up, and I didn't know what was happening. And then the cuss words just, I'm like, what's going on?
Because in general, cuss words, you're saying you stub your toe or it's worse when you're spewing it at somebody,
Right.
right?
Like out of
And when
anger.
you tell someone to shut up, that's like the ultimate,
Right.
Maybe they need to shut up though.
maybe, but
What if they need to shut up? What if they should
you
shut
can
up?
say it nicer.
Yeah, there's lots of things that I can say that are pretty terrible that wouldn't use a single cuss word.
Yeah. Are you building up or are you tearing down? And there's context. I mean, we've said it before, but it's worth repeating, new listeners and all. Like,
This is what you say to your daughters? This exact...
No, like with us.
We build people up. We don't build them up.
Somebody gets a promotion, yeah, and I'm like, or whoever is like, fuck yeah, man. You bring it in, hug,
Sure.
celebrate.
You get your Alabama card.
But
Like,
if your
hey.
mom got a promotion, maybe not. Or maybe, I don't know.
Wow, Mom, that's swell.
No, but it's true, and it's like I am not. That word is not used to tear down in that context.
No, it's
and like you
not.
said, it's the context. But
Or as a
literally,
verb.
churches divide over the instruments that are used, like, and that's in the same ballpark. It's like some people I follow some pretty conservative people on X, for content purposes, and big pastors with big followings that extol the virtues of maybe using piano in addition to voices, but not much more. God doesn't need more than that for worship. And would be totally offended by us who are playing rock praise generally, tastefully,
Soft rock,
soft rock,
prog.
but compared to like Mega Church Show, which is like a rock band, fog machines, all that stuff, that's different.
Open it so.
But yet
Here I go again.
but that's, I think in that megachurch context, in that culture, it can be used to bring people to Jesus somehow. So I don't
Wait. What? I lost the thread a little bit. Which can be used now? The rock music,
like
or,
a total rock show,
oh,
the whole experience, fog machines, everything, people on ropes,
and
suspended.
that
Chuck would have said
but-
that's
but
like
that-
You never know.
sacrilegious.
and that is
Sacrilege.
relevant
not-
to the cuss words.
Because of context. Like, you can't be a Christian and use cuss words. You can't be a Christian and drink. You can't. It's like, no, it's not the thing. It's how are you using it?
Yeah.
It's not the instrument. It's how are you using it? So for basically, everyone is someone else's heretic.
It's not the gun.
It's how you use it.
Guns don't-
Yeah.
Guns don't kill people.
Now we got the South back online.
I do.
So if someone was like, I effing love Jesus, and use the word, what percentage of Christians will be offended?
I want to go to that church. That's what I want to do.
They do.
Oh, everyone.
Yeah,
Okay.
most people would, but again, like,
Just got baptized. You're on the stage in front of 2,000 people, and you're like, I effing
Fuck
love
yeah.
Jesus.
I would laugh. Like,
Yeah.
genuinely, I would start laughing. I mean, like,
Especially if they like caught themselves like, oh, I'm sorry.
yeah, I would laugh because it's
It'll
sweet.
be real.
Now,
Yeah, sweet. Okay.
it's in my mind. It's sweet 'cause
And
they
real.
They just are like,
But we don't want
in
real in
abundance,
church.
my emotion.
We want safe in church. We want protected. We want correct.
Okay. Yes, and then the church that we go to, like, I don't think anyone would be like lose their mind and leave the church because someone that thing happened.
This is true.
The thing on the flip side, there's the person who uses swear words as commas, and that's just off-putting. Like, it actually doesn't matter what the context is for me. I'm like, dude, you need more vocabulary. This is not working. That word.
Because it eliminates the meaning and the specialness. The sacred use of the word fuck gets destroyed when
Sure.
it becomes a comma.
Yeah.
Right, Jeff?
Yeah.
I agree with you, though. Andy?
It does. Like we can each imagine like when we've encountered that person who's just
Instead of saying
It is.
or like it's
it becomes a filler word,
effing,
and you're like,
effing.
dude, okay, now I've very quickly developed an opinion of you and who you are.
Especially when it's done loudly in a diner, where it's like, dude,
Like,
there's kids
just,
here.
just dial it back, man. That's it's unnecessary. And to your point, like it dilutes the power of that word so much that now it's meaningless. And I'm pretty sure whatever you're saying surrounding that word is meaningless as well.
Yeah. Would you guys agree that orgasms are powerful?
Yes.
That was a massive inappropriate segue.
No, do you agree with it though? Like, do you orgasm is
sometimes.
impactful? It's powerful. It's good.
Ideally,
It's done
Jeff,
right.
Hopefully.
it's not a
Zach's
trick
staring at
question.
me. Stop staring at me, Zach. I don't want to talk about long O vowels.
But Andy, culturally, get off that.
Yeah.
I had an actual
Culturally.
point.
Okay,
I
I'm
don't
sorry.
want that to be the only thing I just said there.
Are you just saying because in the UK it doesn't mean the same thing?
I'm just saying.
Yeah, there's some, but exceptions can prove the rule.
Well, fanny here is a cute word. For
You're a
butt.
fanny.
And in the British way or the?
So why orgasms?
Both ways.
No, there is a rare condition
that
that affects women. I think it's very rare.
Tourette's?
I'm sorry. You're back to the orgasm. I thought,
What direction
I
are we
thought you
going
meant the
right
fanny
now?
and the butt.
Where it's one and the same.
What direction are
It's-
we going?
It functions exit and entrance.
I have a 12-year-old.
This is not
What
true.
is happening?
Golly.
All right,
Sorry.
so orgasms. If
What? When did we take a 90-degree turn?
there's a
This
there's
is
a
good-
logic to this,
this is good
Hold on,
content.
let me
there's a
get
logic
it
to
out.
this, and maybe you disagree with it. And maybe you
I
agree-
haven't even heard. I just hear
Yeah,
fannies
'cause
and
as soon as
orgasms.
I start talking about orgasms, you guys get uncomfortable.
Well,
you
we're
guys-
church people.
Do you guys like orgasms?
Every day.
What if your orgasm was constant,
No.
nonstop?
Was you saying that there's a
There's a condition,
Condition.
and I think it's more with women. Well, men for the most part enter a refractory period. You can Google that, kids. Yeah, some very rare, but we're super sensitive down there, and so orgasms happen all the time, and it becomes its own hell.
it's miserable.
It's miserable. It loses the specialness, the sacredness. And I think it applies. It's similar to the cussing thing. It's like it's done too much.
Sure.
Feels like the Adam Sandberg "Jizz in My Pants" video.
Andy.
Andy said,
Samberg.
"What did I say?"
Adam.
Yes.
Oh, Adam.
Different Jew.
Easy with the Jew talk.
Andy
That's really hot
Samberg?
right now.
Andy Samberg.
Thank you.
I understand the mistake. It's easy.
What did I say?
You said Adam Sandberg. You mixed Adam Sandler and Andy Samberg.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Who's dyslexic now, bitch? I can barely get that out.
That was personal. I'd like to, for the record, I'd like to say he called me a bitch.
Who's bitch now? Dyslexic?
That's the way. That's what attack. That's what we're punching up here. That's
Yeah.
what it should have been from
Uh-oh.
the beginning. Thank you.
Uh-oh.
that would have been
Drinks
a good
are flowing.
Do you have any more of this?
Yes.
You're out of that.
You want some more?
Where is it?
I got it.
one. Oh, it's here?
behind you.
I could use a little of that. I don't want to do more bourbon, but I'll do
Oh,
my-
it's really
This
behind-
stuff's
No,
pretty
no,
good,
no.
though, yeah?
No, hold on.
Okay.
No, that I got stuff in the fridge, so it's cold.
Oh,
I'll be
okay.
right back. You guys are good. You keep talking about your bitches.
Do you have another voicemail?
No, I don't think we have another voicemail.
There's probably some YouTube comments or whatever, anything on top of mind. Go
Oh,
for it.
yeah. Let me pull up some YouTube comments. There was a really hot YouTube comment section on one of our videos. Let me go ahead and.
You know, I did post. There was a reel I posted a while back that somebody used. It tells you when somebody does
Oh.
like a stitch of it,
Nice.
basically to critique it, and I didn't have the
Oops.
strength and the fortitude to look at it because it was me when I was saying something heretical
Okay.
to the average Christian, and somebody used it in their reel to do. I don't know if they're agreeing with it, probably not, but I didn't have the stones to
Let's pull it up.
watch it yet.
Where is it?
Give it a gig.
But it's on Instagram. I have to look it up.
This is from our episode 456 with Keith Giles, Matt DiStefano on their new book that's coming out about reading Romans correctly.
Oh, it's out. Read Romans Right. Reading Romans Right.
Read Romans right.
It's good.
R. And so let me dive into the comments here real quickly. From the user, hell isn't is forever is their name. Hell isn't is forever. Yeah, who's bitching now? Dyslexic.
Well, hell is forever was already taken, so
Hell isn't is forever. Eternal conscious torment is not biblical, but Satan has pulled the wool over the church's eyes for 1,700 years.
Ooh, I like this.
So it is clearly a spiritual blinding. So he's saying hell is not biblical, and Satan
Eternal hell.
eternal hell. Satan fooled the church. Universal reconciliation is also not biblical.
Oh, that's where we part.
Annihilation, which is conditional immortality, fits with all the themes of the Bible, and no language has yet to get redefined.
That's where he's wrong. He's not wrong, or she. I'm guessing it's a dude, because dudes usually care deeply about this stuff. Probably has a touch of the tism. That's cool. I do too. I'm with you. You can find good evidence for eternal conscious torment. You can find good evidence for universal reconciliation and for annihilationism, which is just like the wages of sin is death.
Real quick, what's the tism?
Autism.
The ought.
You have autism?
I'm just trying to empathize.
Oh, jeez.
Jeff Rollins.
Can you be here?
Don't stoop that low.
Wait, I'm making too much eye contact with you. I'm revealing I don't have it. Dang it.
Sometimes I wonder if I have a little bit. Okay.
You know what's weird though? I count when I'm walking upstairs, my brain starts counting.
You're just doing
Maybe-
math. You're just practicing math. 'cause
Maybe,
you-
but
yeah.
I don't know. That's something.
I counted today.
I take 3.
82. I'm not even joking.
82 stairs.
I'm not joking. I counted today.
They make you walk up the stairs at Google, not
I
take
chose
the elevator.
I'm doing things new.
Oh.
I took the stairs today.
Andy's making all things new, just like his father Jesus.
Get a little workout in. It's good.
Anybody doesn't know,
very
Andy
little.
is in Severance. So
I am in Severance. Okay, so that whole thing, eternal torment, is not biblical. Satan pulled the wool over the church's eyes. First reply to that comment from Dave Millsap.
Yeah, boy.
And a supernatural, powerful being named Satan isn't biblical either.
Nice. And believe it or not,
So,
wait, what did he say? A supernatural.
a supernatural, powerful being named Satan isn't biblical either.
He's on to something there. The idea of a supernatural biblical being is something that develops throughout Scripture and is not present from the very beginning. So I don't know if I fully agree, but he's on to something.
So hell is forever. Responds to Dave. John 8:44 seems to state explicitly that there is a supernatural, powerful being named Satan or the devil. The exact name isn't of main importance to me, so my usage of Satan is likely incorrect, but gets the meaning across that I intended. So John 8:44, which we all know by heart. Let's say it together. 1, 2,
John
8:44.
what was that?
For the Satan is real. Yep, that's
that
how
what it says?
That's exactly what it says. This is a new game. This is a new game that we're gonna play. Dave responds, "Hell is forever." He disagrees. Nowhere in John 8:44 does it say anything about a supernatural being. The devil is.
Dave, look up John 8:44.
You mean Dave?
Yeah. Not Dave Millsap.
Dave, look up John.
Dave Millsap, are you watching on the live stream?
The devil is diabolos, which is a word applied to humans in the New Testament. Oh, but Satan is not. He's picking nits here.
I have it.
Okay, I could keep
let's
going
hear
on.
the
This.
actual
8:44. Let's hear
Let's
it.
actually quote Scripture.
Hit
Weird.
us, Dave.
8:44. You belong to your father, the devil.
Get
and
in that
you want
mic.
to-
Get in that mic, Dave.
You belong to your father, the devil, and you want to carry out your father's desires. So it mentions the devil right there.
Yeah.
He was a murderer from the beginning, not holding to the truth, for there is no truth in him when he lies.
So I will disagree with Mr. Millsap that I think when Jesus is tempted by the devil or by Satan, I don't remember how it's referenced, which Satan, El Satan, the Satan in your Spanish Bibles.
Do you know about El Satan, man?
El Diablo.
Diablo.
That guy's not
This was
too
the
good,
NIV,
man.
by the way.
It just means
NIV.
accuser.
He's horny.
We don't live too far from his home.
But there is,
Mission
like-
Viejo Diablos.
Jesus is tempted by the devil or by Satan. So, but Satan means the accuser. And so we read the personified deity of the Satan that has developed over time. But it is this metaphorical, like, you could have all the kingdoms of this world, I give them to you, and Jesus rejects them. That could happen from a personal agent, say, I am the devil, I control the world, I'll give it all to you. You could look at it that way, or you could look at it more of the, like, Jesus rejected the temptation to take over the world through political force, all that stuff. You can look at that thing a lot of different ways. So
I want to encourage our listeners to go check out the rest of the back and forth between Dave and Hell
Is there a
Isn't
lot
Forever.
more?
There's more,
oh, that's good.
but you know what's cool is it is super respectful, and you get both. Well, maybe Dave isn't, but he's not trying to pound the other dude, and the other dude is responding with like, "Oh, okay, maybe I need to look into this a little bit more."
oh, interesting.
And he's
nice.
willing to accept new information. So look what we're doing, guys. We're changing the world.
We are changing the world.
Well, we've created a platform that allows the world to change.
yeah. Dude, we're fucking
We're
changing
neutralizing
the fucking world.
division.
We are neutralizing division.
Yeah.
I
You're
like
welcome,
that.
Scott Debates.
Yeah.
The answer is right here, Scott.
Yeah. Stop debating so
it's
much.
here.
Let me see if I can find another one real quick. Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, I guess this is the full episode. That was maybe a chunk that you'd taken out.
Yep.
This is the full episode, and Brian Keither 16,
Thank you,
his
Brian.
number one comment on this is
This is from the Keith Giles, Matt DeStefano,
This is
reading
freaking
Romans Right.
awesome.
episode 256. My new favorite LDS church podcast. Amazing, guys. Clapping.
Yeah, baby.
Woo! All right.
LDS. I don't have enough kids for that or a wives.
Oh my gosh. And Dave Millsap, thanks again. Steve Gregg has a great short book on hell covering the three main views of hell. All right. I like that. That's fun. I'm happy to bring to you the brand new
Gosh.
all-time greatest LDS podcast. Are there LDS podcasts, by the way?
Oh, I'm sure there are.
Name one.
Coffee.
I just said I'm
coffee
sure
talk.
They can't
Mountain
have
View
coffee.
for you.
They can't have coffee. They
Guess
don't have
what?
caffeine. Why don't they have caffeine?
Mormons are incredibly organized,
Incredibly.
and they are incredible business people.
Let's just generalize. It's fun. But you're not wrong, by the way.
Thank you. Generally correct. So it wouldn't surprise me if they have a couple large podcasts, but they can't do what we're doing, which is we're dipping our toe into heresy. We're dipping our toe into orthodoxy. We're dipping our toe into all of the pools. And I think that's what makes us unique.
On a side note, my wife, Lindsay, got a new client who is a Mormon, and he is easily the best client she has ever had. And this dude is awesome.
They're the nicest.
I got to meet him. He came out, and we were chatting while we were working on the house.
He didn't say bless your heart once.
He,
did he?
no, our hearts were not blessed.
Okay.
And he talked to us about a lot of stuff not related to the house at all. Like we were actual people. Because she does have some really like wealthy clients who, this is a transactional relationship. I'm here to talk to you about the job that you're here to do, and that's it. And they're fine.
Yeah.
They're just transactional. He was like, "Oh, so you got any kids? Your daughter's with you today? Oh, how and then like, yeah, I don't know. Sometimes it's hard to parent daughters as a dad. I don't know how to do it. And,
Is it?
yeah, but it was
That's great.
it was sweet. I left
Yeah.
that. I was like, Lindsay, this is your this guy is like my new favorite client of yours all time.
You would say, "Hey, Lindsay, keep this guy happy," but it doesn't seem like he has an issue staying happy.
No, he was great.
That's great.
There's some more that I could go into, but we could talk about other things or not. We've been going for a little while.
You know what? I just thought it is wild when you focus on going back to the language. I said bless your heart again, and it made me think. Literally, bless your heart means bless your actual heart. It means fuck off. It means I think you're slow. It means almost anything depending on the context.
Both good or bad.
It is so wild.
In the South, it is always bad, though, I think.
Maybe that's my inclination, but correct us if I'm wrong. Or
I've
we're
been
wrong.
told that by Southerners. They're like,
Yeah.
oh, if you get bless your heart, it's not.
It's always bad.
It's not gonna be a
And
good
so
thing.
it's in that context. It's like you would be, and if you're a Southerner and you know how to receive that,
Yeah.
what's the difference between that and saying "fuck off" or like
I
"you're a shithead, get out of here"?
I once had a coworker who had a mug that said "Bless your heart," and on it was just like
Yeah, that's perfect.
finger just flipping them off.
That's perfect.
Yeah, that was there. There was theirs. By the way, there is one comment.
So it's not the words, people.
It's
It's
how-
not the words that you use. It's how you use them.
Yeah.
Rinse and repeat.
Bless your heart, Zach.
It works for
Fuck off,
orgasms too.
Jeff.
Matt Whitwer 2881. This is on one of our others. The realism. It's,
Specific.
this is one of our
Go to
others.
our YouTube videos.
What
You'll
sucks is-
find all these
What
things.
sucks is that it doesn't allow me to see.
all right.
Okay, episode 255, The Cussing Pastor. And here's what he says. The realism you guys bring is great.
Whoa.
I like sitting down and having a beer with you guys while discussing topics I need to hear when I need to hear them.
Let us know when you're in the greater Los Angeles area.
Yeah, like really great.
Like way on the south side.
In the better part. of-
Northern San Diego,
Los
greater San Diego area.
Yep.
South Orange County.
Dave Millsap, when you are with three pals in a room, only being judged by the aftermath, it's by mostly strangers. It's easier for the dialogue to descend into the mundane, especially if the whole premise of the discussion is examining the culture of propriety. Oh, I just
Holy mackerel.
pressed the more button, and there's a lot.
Dave Millsap, I'm so impressed by how much you do with these
I
comments.
love this. And listeners, go check out his comments.
because we can't do it all here.
I think he nails it right here, and it's pertinent to what we were just saying right now. Apparently, we're talking about cussing a lot. It's been a while since our last episode, so I forgot what we said. As a grown-ass man around other grown-ass men, ain't nobody gonna tell you what you can or can't say.
That's true. Also, are you guys ass men?
What?
Yes.
Grown ass men.
Oh.
Aspie? Is that what you
No,
said?
ass man.
Man.
You grown ass
I'm
man.
a grown ass man.
You're Aspie.
Are you an ass man?
I do have kind of a bubble butt, especially for my slender frame.
Do those squats.
Weird.
Hey, listen, I think I still love it every single time. Thank you for Dave Millsap and friends for commenting on the videos. It's great. Like
Your Beanie Babies on the way.
I know
Thanks,
I've
Dave.
said it before, but like Beanie Babies, man, that must have. You're hearkening back to the 1987 financial collapse that you referenced at the beginning of the podcast.
Tell me you're old as fuck without telling me you're old as fuck.
Cabbage Patch?
It's just so cool to be able to get feedback and have people's input and be able to like respond to that. We were thirsty for it for so long, and thank you YouTube for making that happen. Do we want to land this plane? Is there anything else we want to talk about? I don't
Might as
know.
well land
You
it.
guys okay?
Yeah,
We good?
my heart is full.
We could talk about more things next week. We could
Yeah.
bank some things to talk
Assuming
about
we
next week.
get back to it next week.
We will.
Yeah.
We'll get back to it next
The
week.
wheels are coming down.
They're coming down. Been good.
But they're not coming off.
No.
No.
That's good.
Before we end, what's the coolest thing that's happened to you within the last week?
I've spent a lot of time with my dog. My family is gone. They left me for greater ventures temporarily, i.e. visiting colleges overseas and school trips to New York. And so it's been me and the dog. And man, when the family's gone, he is thirsty for affection. He's like, what the fuck is going on? Something's not right.
The coolest thing that's happened to Zach this week, to synthesize that, is you've hung out with your little dog.
Yeah.
I mean, we hung out a bunch this week. we went to lunch on Sunday. Had some great conversations.
No, that was great too. That was
But I'm
great,
glad,
too.
man, your dog did awesome.
No, it is wild to be alone in the house and think you're gonna be like, okay, this is the time. I'm gonna play 12 hours straight of Red Dead Redemption,
Oh, that is glorious.
and it just doesn't happen. At least not this time because of
With no shame.
yeah,
Yeah, it could happen, but the shame will come from you or others.
right, yeah.
Or both.
No, it was a thing where I dropped the final person off at the airport early on in the morning on Saturday, and my old self would be like, okay, it's 7 a.m. I could play video games for a while, which I know would be like, okay, now it's
I did
2
10.
in the afternoon.
If I did 10 hours, I would only put 5 o'clock, then that means I could get dinner after that. I could go
But-
rejoin humanity.
I'm like, I don't want to hate. I want to play video games and feel good about it, so I'm not going to start now. But just it led to just doing things, and then,
I'll load the dishwasher.
yeah.
Our lunch after church on Sunday was a highlight for me, where we got
Nice.
all of our families together plus a couple of others, and all got to sit together and be together. And
Yeah, Lisa's gonna be very jealous that she was out of town.
I know.
But yeah,
but we
that-
can do it again.
That was a great highlight for sure.
That was wonderful. I love that. I love you guys.
I'm amending my highlight.
I know.
love you guys too. Bless your hearts.
I had to leave.
Did I do it right?
I had to
You-
leave
you-
early because of the fight I got in San Diego. But
Dude, you were dying.
a few days ago, my oldest son Christian came home and started talking about a conversation he got into. He was talking about the Bible and how he just was talking in a way where at first I'm like I'm listening to him like I'm his father, and I'm thinking how I can guide and maybe like, oh, have you, what about this? And
He's like, Dad, Jesus doesn't condemn any sin.
but at some point as he was talking in such a way that I sat back, because my wife was there as well. I sat back and I started listening to him, and he went from my son to a man who had amazing things to say about Jesus and relationships with other people, and like just seeing the future. I'm like, I want to hang out with this guy. And then I realized, good grief, my son has grown up and he is light years ahead of me, and that makes me so happy. So that is by far the best thing, the coolest thing, as you said, that's happened to me this week. That was sweet moment.
That is sweet. That's almost as cool as Zach playing video games.
No,
It's
I think
almost
you
the
missed
same.
It. I didn't play any video games. It was the point.
The dog played video games.
I worked on the house.
I forget. Sorry. So, it's almost as cool as
My
Zach's
point
dog
was
playing
I
video
didn't
games.
play video games like I normally would.
I need to come clean. Zach's dog licked me. I was at his house. He licked me on the couch. It happened.
There was open mouth for sure. It was mutual.
You weren't watching.
It looked
It
mutual.
did happen.
Licked you in the mouth.
Yeah, yeah,
In the mouth.
yeah.
Oh.
And guess what? I think my dog brushed his teeth more recently than Jeff. If I'm guessing,
Okay, guys.
Jeff seemed to enjoy it more. Like
I've seen your dog.
Monroe was like, "Whoa, what was that?" I'm just kidding. I'm making that up.
Seen your dog.
He gave me
lick
the
its
side eye.
balls and
Stranger
its
danger.
butthole.
My dog has a wiener, but not balls. But your
Aw.
point still remains. He does do that.
He
all
licked them
of
right
that,
off.
Yes.
Just so you guys know, we landed and we went right through the runway and we crashed all over the place.
Something wrong.
Long way.
All right. Okay. This is the Bros Bibles about Bear podcast.
It's the Baba podcast.
By the way, wait. The last,
Oh my goodness.
the Keith Jaws one, we were both feeling pretty good.
Yeah, I
and
know. I
At the
know.
very end, you're like, burrs, burrs, and burrs.
Oh wow.
So good. But people know what we're talking about.
Uh,
They know the thing.
I haven't watched it back. Now I'm definitely not going to watch it
Oh,
back.
dude.
Producer Dave can't contain himself right
Producer Dave, for Zach, for Jeff, I am Andy. This is Bros, Bibles, and Beer.
now. Grace.
Peace, cheers.
Grace, peace, cheers. Clink, clink, clink,
Clink, clink, clink.
clink, clink, clink,
Clink, clink, clink, clink.
clink, clink, clink.
Fucking clink, Dave. God. Oh,
Come on, Clinker.
I stopped it.
What's the?
Can I drink out of this?
Is there one over there?
No.
Andy, is there one over there?
oh the audio's.
Did you not get a? Hold on,
No,
I'll
I
stop it.
didn't. That's why I was gonna. No, it's okay. Forget it.
I asked him and he said no.